Hi, everybody. This is our presentation of our evaluation and assessment of Kate. And this is by Nicole and Kelsey. So Kate is a 4-year-old girl who lives with her mom, dad, and dog at home. She was a student in daycare until the stay-at-home order started. She now spends her time at home with her family. Kate is very interested in art and science experiments. She loves to spend time playing with her friends on the playground and exploring her backyard. Kate is a big help around the house, and her chores include watering the plants in her garden and feeding her dog each morning. Kate does a great job at brushing her teeth independently and dressing herself every day. Kate's family is very routine-based, which helps her maintain structure throughout her day. The model of human occupation that we used would be helpful to use with Kate to get a better understanding about what motivates her and how we can best encourage her to take part in activities. This model will be especially helpful for working with Kate's family because they have already created strong habits and routines related to the habituation aspect of MOHO theory. Through this model, we would gain an understanding of Kate's mealtime and bedtime habits while asking questions about her volition and routines around these occupations. Through the lens of MOHO, we can focus on the patterns of Kate's habituation during her preferred and non-preferred occupations. Gaining this insight will help us determine factors that support or limit Kate's engagement and performance in her daily activities. We would also use this model to look at her independent play activities in the context of her home environment. Gaining information regarding Kate's volition and habituation will allow us to assess what interventions would be most effective for her. We would use the behavioral frame of reference as a helpful tool while evaluating Kate. Through this frame of reference, we would look at how we can best reinforce good behaviors with Kate and provide opportunities for her to learn a skill, such as self-regulation during mealtime and bedtime. Positive reinforcement will be used through the words of encouragement from the OT and Kate's mom to elicit behavior modifications. This will be achieved by decreasing maladaptive tendencies like tantruming or not subscribing to her routines. When learning new, complex skills, we could use shaping and chaining to break down the task that then put it all together when she is ready. For example, if Kate is not performing her self-regulation strategies, we would break down the task so she can be more successful. After completing the family and routines exploration and description, we were impressed with how much Kate contributes to her housekeeping and helping her parents with chores. Kate has great structure in her home environment, primarily because her mom is a board-certified behavioral analyst, which supports her occupational engagement. Kate is involved in many activities of daily living and instrumental activities of daily living throughout her day, including starting the vacuum, dressing herself, and brushing her teeth. Based on information we gathered during this interview, Kate and her family's daily routines support her occupational engagement. The Fred interview showed that Kate is developing really well and that there are few areas that her parents wish for her to improve upon. Kate has some relative barriers in her occupations, like her mealtime and bedtime routines. Her mom also mentioned that Kate is struggling with emotional regulation when one parent leaves the house because she has become used to everyone being home together during the stay-at-home order. The main goal of her parents was to have her spend less time being awake between being put to bed and actually falling asleep, so her sleep latency, and for Kate to increase her ability to play independently at home. Another goal was to have Kate spend less time sitting in meals and struggling to finish her plate of food in a reasonable amount of time. The results from the CSHQ sleep screener indicated that Kate scored a 40, which is not a clinically significant sleep disturbance score. However, Kate's total score was 1 point off of the clinically significant sleep disturbance score, and Kate's mother reported sometimes for many of the questions related to the subscale daytime sleepiness. However, Kate's mother marked no for each item when asked if it was a problem. Based on these results, Kate's sleep habits primarily support her occupational engagement in sleep. Kate's parents did not note any concerns on the ASQ. However, there were some difficulties expressed with settling herself after exciting activities, doing what she is asked to do, exploring new places, and with her affect. Kate's mother reported on the ASQ that she enjoys how funny and caring Kate is, as well as stating she is fun to play with and good at helping with her chores. Kate's score was a 25, which means her social emotional development appears to be on schedule. Based on these results, Kate's social emotional behaviors will support her occupational performance and engagement. Based on these findings from the interview, the CSHQ, and the ASQ, we chose to observe Kate's independent play. This was chosen based on the parent concerns described in the Fred interview and her mother's reported concerns about Kate being able to problem solve on her own. The scope was chosen because it is an occupation-focused parent report assessment, and during the screenings, Kate's mother was a strong reporter of her child's development and performance. Kate showed various strengths throughout the scope assessment. She did not have any notable areas that restricted or inhibited her participation in occupations. The assessment showed that her communication, interaction skills, and environment all facilitate her occupational engagement. Kate's mom reported some aspects of habituation and volition that did not fully support Kate's engagement in her occupations, such as her challenge with continuing an activity even when it becomes difficult and having the right energy level throughout the day. The other areas of habituation allow Kate to participate in her occupations, more specifically her daily activities and her response to transitions. All other categories of occupations facilitate her involvement in occupations. Kate tends to hesitate when presented with multiple options, and she would benefit from additional cueing from her mom or her school teacher when playing. Kate also can become frustrated easily when she is not offered support with a task or she cannot complete it independently. She requires support when completing daily activities in times of transition. The parent report section of the scope showed that Kate has some challenges in her ability to communicate her emotions to others and endure when she becomes frustrated with a task. Kate chose to engage in 3 different play activities in our observation, including a doodle mat, phonics cards, and kinetic sand. Kate showed strengths in her independent play, including taking initiative to open boxes of toys and navigate around items to access the toys that she wanted. This shows that she has the ability to problem solve on her own and has strong gross motor skills. Kate still tends to rely on asking an adult for help as a first option, but when she's properly cued, she can be successful at figuring out another option on her own. She requested for mom to sit next to her while playing and appreciated encouragement from mom throughout playtime. She consistently showed and shared to her observers and mom throughout playtime to include them in her play. Kate was willing to participate in the activity while we were on Zoom and was excited to show us all of her toys and her toy shelf. Here are our long-term goals and short-term goals that we had planned out for Kate after going through this evaluation experience. Our first long-term goal is that Kate will independently take part in her bedtime routine in 30 minutes in 1 month. And then our short-term corresponding goal for bedtime routine will be that Kate will take part in her bedtime routine in 30 minutes guided by her parents in 1 week. So we thought this would be a good goal to have her parents facilitate her bedtime routine, and then eventually within a month's period, she can move on to independently running this routine by herself and helping her get to bed sooner. Our next long-term goal is that Kate will independently complete mealtime in 30 minutes in 6 weeks. And then our corresponding short-term goal is that Kate will successfully complete mealtime using a timer for 35 minutes that is set by her parents in 1 week. As Kate's parents reported some struggles with having her complete mealtime in a timely fashion, we believe using this assistive device of a timer can help keep Kate on track and notify her when it's time to finish up with dinner and keep her attentive to how long she is taking throughout the process. And then after that short-term goal, her long-term goal, we are hoping to have her independently complete mealtime in that 30 minutes in 6 weeks. And then our last long-term goal is that Kate will choose an independent play activity that she will engage in for 30 minutes at home without her parents in the next month. And then the short-term activity that corresponds, or goal that corresponds, will be that Kate will independently engage in a parent-chosen independent play activity for 15 minutes in the next 2 weeks. We thought this short-term goal would be a nice way for her parents to facilitate her independent play. And then going into her long-term goal, we would like for Kate to independently choose an activity and then engage in it independently at home without her parents. And here are our references. Thank you so much.